All right, let's jump right in. Whether you're trying to learn Chinese or you're just a language nerd like me, you're in the right place. Because what we're about to unpack is going to totally change how you look at Chinese vocabulary. We're talking about the hidden logic, the system that's hiding in plain sight. And the folks over at Mandarin Blueprint who inspired this explainer, they make this incredible promise. They say there's some secret knowledge here that very few people, even advanced speakers, really get. And once you get it, well, learning becomes way faster, way easier, and honestly, it turns the language into this fascinating puzzle you can actually solve.
So here's the game plan. We're going to start by looking at something even smaller than a character. Then we'll make the two big word families. After that, we'll decode how they combine, which is the really cool part. We'll look at the patterns, and by the end, you're going to have what feels like a language learning superpower.
Okay, first things first, to really get how Chinese words work, we have to start with their absolute most basic building blocks. And, they're not always what you might think they are. The big important idea here is something called a morpheme. Just think of it like a Lego brick of meaning. It's the smallest possible piece of a language that you can't break down any further without losing its meaning. And if you're thinking, what on earth is a morpheme? Don't worry, let's just look at English for a second. Take the word unexpected. It's one single word, right? But it's actually built from three of those little Lego bricks, three morphemes. You've got un, which means not, expect, which is the main idea, and ed, which tells you it happened in the past. Chinese, it turns out, plays by very similar rules. And this, right here, this is one of the most important things to understand. What's the difference between a character and a word? Well, pretty much every single character is a morpheme. It's a chunk of meaning. But, and this is the key, not every character is a word you can just use by itself. Some of them have to team up with other characters to make sense. So now that we have our building blocks, our morphemes, let's see how they get put together. Turns out, pretty much all Chinese words fall into one of two big families.
So on one side, you have pure words. These are simple, they're made of just one morpheme. But on the other side, you have compound words. And this is where the real magic happens, because these words are made by combining multiple morphemes, and they make up the vast majority of the entire Chinese language.
Now, check this out, because this is so cool. This shows you how some of those pure words work, especially when they're borrowed from other languages. Take the word for sofa, shafa. The characters they picked literally mean sand and to send out. I mean, that has nothing to do with the couch. The characters were chosen just for how they sound. Same thing with cola, Ken plus happy, and hacker, appall plus guest. It's just a fascinating look at how languages borrow and adapt. Okay, so let's get to the heart of this thing. We're talking about that huge family of compound words. This isn't just a random jumble of characters. No. There is an elegant, logical system for how they're combined. It's a system.
And how complex is this system? 100 different patterns? 1,000? No, get this. There are just 7 main logical patterns that are used to build the overwhelming majority of words in Chinese. If you understand these, you've found the secret key.
All right, so we're not going to walk through all 7 patterns, but let's unpack a few of the most common and, frankly, most powerful ones so you can really see this beautiful system at play. Let's start with a really intuitive one, the verb-object pattern. It's simple. The first character is an action, and the second character is the thing that action is happening to. So let's say you combine kan, which means to look, with shu, which means book. What do you think that means? Exactly. To read, lookbook. It makes perfect sense. And once you see that pattern, you can start making educated guesses all over the place. It's an incredibly powerful shortcut. Okay, next up, we've got a pattern called biased. All this means is that one character is the main idea, the main category, and the other character just describes it. The classic example is the word for airplane. The main category is ji, a machine. Simple enough. But what kind of machine? It's a fei, a flying machine. You put them together, fei ji, you get an airplane. So logical. Now, this one, the parallel pattern, is one of my absolute favorites. This is where you combine two characters that have equal weight. Sometimes they're opposites, like da, big, and xiao, small, which combine to mean size. But the best example is mao dun. This means contradiction. Why? Well, mo means spear and dun means shield.
The word comes from an ancient story about a guy trying to sell a spear that could pierce anything and a shield that could block anything. Somebody asked, what happens if you hit the shield with the spear? And boom, spear shield became the word for contradiction. How cool is that?
And for our last pattern today, we have one that's basically a tiny little sentence packed into a single word. It's called subject-predicate. The first character is the thing, the subject, and the second character is what that thing is doing. So if D, the ground, starts to vibe, you get jichin, an earthquake. The ground vibrates. It's a whole story told in just 2 characters.
So what's the big takeaway here? I mean, why is knowing all this so important? Well, because understanding these patterns isn't just a neat little piece of trivia. It's a tool that totally changes how you approach the language.
This is the whole point. Your brain literally shifts gears. You go from just trying to memorize thousands of random words to logically figuring them out. You can actually start guessing what new words mean. And because you see the logic, the little story inside each word, it sticks in your brain so much better. You start to see that it's not random at all. It's an incredibly elegant and deeply logical system.
And that really just leaves us with one last question to chew on. We just looked at something that can seem impossibly complex, Chinese vocabulary, and we found the simple, logical system hiding underneath it all. So it kind of makes you wonder, what other impenetrable things in our lives are maybe not so random after all, but are just a system of patterns we haven't learned how to see yet?